Hey everyone, welcome.
Welcome to Custody Matters Live. So today we are going to, we've been playing with technologies, by the way.
Not my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's not been, it's a lot of, I think everybody has actually. Everybody who's found themselves quarantined has had to have a steep learning curve. Remember, like my dad was doing Zoom. He was trying out Zoom with his Sunday school class because all the churches were closed down and everything. And I gotta hand it to him because he was determined to figure out how they were going to meet, even if it was remote. And I was just very proud of him and frustrated too, because he'd call me I'm like, Zoom tech support. So he figured it out.
It's funny because the older generation, when they use it, they don't like to see themselves on camera. Mm-hmm. So they tend to kind of, hold on, I got to do this just because they do it like that. So they're looking at it and they're like, can you see me?
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. I love those commercials. I don't know, those commercials that kind of mock the Zoom thing.
Yeah, it's the insurance commercial for
the Progressive or something.
Progressive. Yeah. So I forget the name of the woman who's been on there for 100 years, but she does the same thing. Can you see me? Can you see me?
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Okay. Today, so today happens to be, this is the week before Thanksgiving. And it's also a very special week. It's a very special week for me because for 6 months, I've been working on a collaborative book project. It's the Overcoming Mediocrity series. And there's the book. I guess if I were really...
Yay!
Yeah, there.
Shiny. It's very shiny. It's like a diamond.
Look at that. Okay. So anyway, the Overcoming Mediocrity series is it's a series of books. I think this is the 9th edition. So they've named this Unstoppable Women. So and it's really great because it had me do a lot of self-reflection. Mm-hmm. And I did share my story in the book, and but I also actually went deeper. There were things I've been going through 20 years of self-reflection of dealing with having been in a high conflict custody battle, that started 20 years ago and stuff like that. And and yet there was more to discover. It's something where you really have to get to where you're be so vulnerable to yourself and, let yourself, just see what there is to see and to acknowledge those shadow sides of yourself that had you in the circumstances that you found yourself in. And yet I think about when I was a little girl and I would say to myself, and I was raised very much entrenched in the church and stuff like that. And I would see people on their testimonies in front of the pulpit, and they would share their stories. And usually they were these horrific things that they had overcome, like, drug addiction or rape or who knows. I mean, it was just horrible, but I always wow, they're an overcomer and stuff. But so when I was a little kid, I was like, I want to make a difference. I want to do something, powerful, that, so God, please, just show me.
Oh boy, you set yourself up.
And I'm
asked for that.
So now I'm like, oh yeah, I brought it on
Yeah, you did. You have to go through an experience in order to help other people. And yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's why it's a journey too, because you get to keep going through and keep learning and keep growing, and it never stops, but it gets better. That's the key. So good job.
I know. Be careful what you wish for. Be
Yeah,
careful
exactly.
what
Jeez, that's pretty powerful.
Although I'll tell you, I did pray, like I didn't pray, but when I was a little kid, before I knew anything about politics, they were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be the president of the United States. So
yeah, not so much anymore, right?
no.
No.
No. But
it's interesting. I have to bring, excuse me,
yes.
I have to bring something up, because I remember on one of our conversations, you had said, well, when I was a little kid, I never dreamt or thought that I would be an advocate. But that kind of, this whole comment about your request to your higher power just totally shifted that statement, because in a way you did do that. You did set yourself up for this. So you did need to be an advocate, and that's really cool that happened. And you didn't even realize it the last time that you talked about this. So
amazing.
Kudos to you.
It's crazy because I think that I look back and I think of who I would have become if I hadn't gone through this journey, if I hadn't been put under the fire. I don't think I would have been able to empathize with people like I do now. Like I can really get what it must be like in other people's world. I can also, the other growth I have is that I'm not a victim. Like, okay, so we all could say in certain aspects that our childhood was not perfect, right, and that we didn't, and we can even see how certain things from our childhood was, somewhat traumatic from our, even if it's getting lost in a mall for a 5-year-old, that's terrifying and very dramatic. And yet, may not have been much of a thing, depending on the circumstance and stuff. But yeah, it's our little kids' interpretation of things. Either way, we're going to come out of, if we can come out of childhood not as a victim of the circumstance, we can just come and just say, okay, what can I learn from this? What wisdoms did I gain? That's really where the growth is. And that's really where the access is to finding your purpose. And I had in this book, it's been a really amazing thing, because we've been getting together with the other authors on Zoom weekly meetings, and they've expanded into a women's summit. They've expanded it. They're actually doing a podcast to interview each of the authors, and we've gotten together and we're like, well, how can we help each other? It's been a very collaborative thing, like the sisterhood of helping each other. And I'm telling you, all of their stories are very different. And they, but obviously the thing that brings us all together are these are women who were unstoppable, and they overcame, something. So my story in here is called An Unexpected Calling. And it very much goes towards, it speaks to found myself in this situation, and how can I, and I get that I'm not the only one. And since I'm not the only one, what can I do to pay it forward and help the next person that finds themselves in, a situation where they're terrified and feeling alone and in a swirl of feeling of fear and survival. So that's the basics of my story. And one thing that's exciting is in 2 days, this Friday, we're having a big Amazon campaign. So this is how
cool.
you all can help me to get to me and my fellow authors to make this book a #1 best-selling book on Amazon. So this Friday, November the 20th, we are doing, we're offering the Kindle version for free. So this book is $19.95, and of course, if you reach out to me, I can still get you a copy, and I can autograph it for you.
I was just going to ask, you have to autograph because it's not fair that we get a copy knowing you without the autograph. Can you autograph Kindle too? Kidding.
I can't. But you can, so you don't have to wait for the book to come in. You can go on Amazon and look for this book. In fact, I'll put a link on it in the description of our video here and on my website, where you can go to download the Kindle version on the 20th. And if everybody downloads the Kindle version, that's what's going to help us to take it over the top and become an Amazon best-selling author. And that has super value as far as people being able to find the book.
Oh, cool. All right.
Anyway, so yeah. And, we have other ways, other things too. I've got an ebook version of just my story that I'm trying to figure out, how I can make it sort of a value added by ordering the printed book, and then you get my story as a download and stuff like that. But right now, the most important thing is that Friday, the Kindle version, and that's for the whole book, not just my story.
It's really, really good timing because there's so many women out there who are stepping out from feeling like we're second-class citizens. And women have been doing this for hundreds of years. And what's so cool is that every generation steps out more and more and more and more. And even if there's I just watched an incredible movie, women, I'm just sharing this with you. I mean, men can watch it too, obviously, but what was her name? Who's the movie is called I Am Woman. Who wrote that song? Oh shoot. It's about her. Hang on a second. I'm going to do an online lookup on, hang on a second, because this is important. It's I Am Woman film. Helen Reddy back in the 70s sung the song I Am Woman. And during that time frame, and she was part of getting I think it was the Constitution or something like that changed. It explains all that in the film, and it never happened. They've been doing it they got stuck at 38 votes or something, and they needed 40. And wow. It still has not been ratified for women to be equal. And when I watched this movie and that song came on, I was it shifted something in me because I hadn't heard the song in such a long time. And for those of you who don't know, your younger generation or whatever, if you don't know that song, you've got to listen to it. It puts something inside of you that says yes, I can do this. Yes, I can handle this. Yes, I am bigger than I thought I was, no matter what anybody told me or whatever. And I'm so proud of you, Danica, because you're one of those women in that lineup of women who have done something to show that women, I mean, this isn't even about equality. It's our God-given right as a human being. And, back in the day, women were revered for our knowledge and our wisdom and our compassion and all this stuff. And then when the whole system took over, then it's all of a sudden, oh, she's a witch, she's crazy, she's this, she's that. And little by little, we dropped. And now we're coming back out. And someday, my hope is that for those who wish to see it, that the 38 will turn into the 40 and they will ratify that amendment to the Constitution or whatever. I'm not that. That's not me. I'm not that person. So I hope I said that right. But by you stepping out like this, by any woman stepping out and just showing her truth, her light, her power, her strength, it's all in there. And we use all that power and strength to hold us down. I mean, if you're in the depths of despair, then then you are bigger. Your strength, your power is holding you down that deep, and everything's falling apart. Then guess what? There's always another side of that coin, and that coin is a huge person. It's big. And that's what I've come to learn. And that's what I see in Danica. That's what I see in, all of the people I'm connecting, all the women I'm connecting with, especially. And it's important too, one last thing, that as we do our healing, it actually heals the world. It heals the divine masculine. It heals the divine feminine. It's like an energy that just moves out there, like throwing a stone into the water and watching her. It's a ripple effect. And so you added to that ripple effect, Danica.
Good. I'm glad. I've always been trying to examine myself and figure out who I am. It's been a lifelong journey, and I would say who I am is a person of collaboration. Mm-hmm. And this collaborative book, is just it's perfect. It was perfect for me because it was collaborative. Also with our team, with our Kids Need Both team, our planning team, it's something that we get to do together, and we create. So we've created this team around what we're up to. I have. If you hear all that knocking, that's my cat.
Trying to get in.
She's like the door.
I'm used to this. It's okay.
So, but yeah, like it's, I think that in the beginning, even 20 years ago, when I found myself in this sewage and of this chaos and this fear and stuff like that, like when I started gleaning little, jewels of information that would help me and make me stronger and bring me light, I got to thinking, I don't want the next person to feel like that they're all alone and they're having to do it alone. So that was when I started curating all this information from everybody else's resources. So anyway, so what's next is, and of course, we're creating a platform community called Hope for Families. And that's the whole thing, is how can we be of service to the professionals who are trying desperately to be of service to the parents, and then the parents are desperately trying to find the resources. So our goal is to bring it all together. With directories and stuff like that, so that so you're not hoping, because this is what we do. We call our best friend, hey, do you know somebody? Mm-hmm. Person is going to try to be helpful. So they'll give you that somebody, but it may not be the right somebody. But it would be great if we, having this community where that you've got that right somebody, whether it's a divorce coach or a financial advisor or a lawyer or a counselor, that you're going to not only find the right person, but these are people of service to the community, and they are creating courses so that you can constantly, educate yourself, empower yourself.
Well, yeah. And Danica, I just want to add something so the platform is everything that Danica said and more. It's also a place where it's like, I remember when I started mine 20 years ago, it's like I couldn't find anything anywhere. Now, at least everybody's got more options of information, but now it's an overload of information. And now you got to go here and there and here and there. And where do you find it? And I don't know where to find it. And nobody knows nobody knows answers. Nobody's been vetted. Nobody's got anything. So the directory that Danica mentioned, it's like, and the rest of the way the platform is going to be set up, is it's like this holding cell for as many vetted people, professionals that will be able to help in some way of whatever you are looking for, whether it's the attorneys or the therapists or coaches or, whatever. So they're all going to be in this container that you can come to. And it's like this bowl and you pick out and you're like, oh, well, this is what I want. Like here's my mental health. I'm looking for a mental health professional that understands what parental alienation is. Or, oh, here, look at this. There's an attorney and he knows what to do. He knows all about parental alienation. You don't have to fight him. And then I got a whole long story about that one. I had my own issues with the attorneys I was with. So, and it's just an incredible thing how this is being set up. And the other thing I wanted to say is, Danica, I'm going to brag about you today because this is brag on Danica today. But the other really cool thing about Danica, she's not just a because I have the word now that I have that word in my head. Hold on. She's not just a collaborator. She's also a catalyzer. So she can catalyze this all these things and mix it up and like alchemy and just bring it out and be able to help people, especially the professionals, to catalyze their work. And she is that person that can help you do that. So by being in this or involved in this or part of this or whatever, you're walking into something that's like bigger than we can't even talk about it. We don't even know how big this could get because it's just huge, compared from the place that we came from. This is like unfathomable. How do I say that? Unfathomable. So that's what you're doing. And in the process of everything that you're doing, you write a portion of this book. So again, kudos to womanhood there, girlfriend.
Well, I think also it's difficult because anybody who's in this high conflict arena of family advocacy, we are typically we probably came from some, there's a lot of us, should I say, who found ourselves personally subjected to it in some fashion. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so personal to us and we're so passionate about it. And I get that there was a time, it was interesting because on the Facebook memories, I realized 8 years ago, I put on my very first family advocacy conference to educate those who were impacted by parental alienation. And I've thought, oh my goodness, it was 8 years ago, but it was 8 short years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think about who I was 8 years ago, and I was just, I was still healing. Mm-hmm. I still had a lot of healing to do, but yet I still knew that I wanted to make a difference in some fashion. So that's the other thing that we're creating for this Hope for Families platform is to make it like if you're healing, but you are now convicted to be a leader in the work, you don't have to wait till you become an expert before you're allowed to make a difference.
You're already an expert. You've already been through it. Experience makes you an expert or experient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the root word, what does expert mean?
I got to tell you, okay. So what's next? And my gears are always going. And sometimes I have to table certain ideas because I can't do them all at once. But I've talked to the publisher who brought us all together. There's 18 women in this one book. And, in our realm of high conflict family conflict advocacy, parental alienation and stuff like that, it would be a great thing, and I'm going to work on this, to do a collaborative book with all the different experts and the parents, because the parents have something valuable to say as well. And maybe they are not there yet as far as putting together a big, thick book of their own. And in fact, I wouldn't even recommend doing one book on your own because it's a lot of money. And now you're the only person that's trying to figure out how you're going to get it out into the world. Whereas this is 18 women, we collectively are getting it out into 18 communities to make it an Amazon best-selling book. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can definitely see how we could have, have all of these different experts that we know and we know well, and the parents and their stories in this book, in a book, a collaborative book. So that's what's next on my agenda.
Chicken soup for the parental alienation soul.
Yeah. They were really the ones that started it. They,
yeah.
the soul. I mean, it was something where, I mean, it kind of hit like wildflower in the fire in the church community because it was, short reads and an opportunity for an author to participate and to be able to access a larger community. So,
yep.
Anyway,
that's awesome.
So that's Friday.
Don't forget Friday.
That's
the 20th.
Yeah.
I'm reiterating it. It's not an echo. I'm reiterating this. Friday the 20th.
Friday the 20th is Kindle Day.
Kindle Day.
You get your free download. Normally the Kindle is $9.95. The book is $19.95. If you reach out to me, as long as I have books in my, I have several books left. Then if I send it out to you, I will autograph it to you if you order it straight from me, from my website. And then, but this Friday, free download of the Kindle book. So, and I can't autograph a Kindle, so you're going to have to get the book.
It's another book in my library, come on.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, I'm really proud of you, and I am looking forward to see more great things happening with you, with the platform, with the, with everything that's going on to bring some hope for families.
Hope for families. That's right. All right. Well, that's all we have today for Custody Matters Live. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being in celebration with what's yet to come, because we do know, like, we try to, I surround myself with people who are, who lift me up with positivity, and because resignation does not serve us at all. At all.
No, me too, but we'll not get into that right now.
All righty. Take care, guys, and enjoy yourself. And see you next Wednesday on Custody Matters Live.
Have a great day.